Welcome to Dogs vs. All Y'all, a weekly college football podcast where we discuss not only my favorite team, the Georgia Bulldogs, but we talk all things college football, hence all y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and look us up on Instagram at SuplexDinnerClub. And go Dogs.
What kind of noise does it make?
Well, it don't work.
Noise.
Well, I'm actually been trying to find another one.
Okay.
I had this around Christmas time. Back in the 90s, probably 94. Yeah.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, I done seen that a couple times. That it makes the noise.
Yes, it does. Now I hate it don't work. If y'all know I can find another one, let me know. I want to buy it, rebuy it.
Word. All right, well, listeners, welcome back to another episode, Dogs versus All Y'all. You know, I'm Adrian. There's no BS coming from me. And y'all, I'm outnumbered tonight. I am joined by two Florida State Seminole diehard fans, two guys that I consider close friends, and I'm really excited to get this conversation going. So introducing first, returning guest, Coach Jones. How you feeling, man? How you living?
Man, I'm good, man. Always a pleasure to be on here. Appreciate the invite. Coach Jones, also known as Javaris Jones or Jada Jones is my nickname. Just a quick plug. Coach_Jones13 is how you can find me on Facebook. I go by Coach Jones because not only do I coach basketball, but I also coach men, real big in the ministry, real big on leadership. And so it's extended beyond sports. It's come to life coaching. And I'm the co-founder of the Dream Family, a self-help organization that me and my wife and family are putting on.
Nice. Well, let me know however I can help out, man. You know, we're here to support each other. So before I introduce our next panelist, I always have a question for our guests. Bowl season always welcomes some memorable performances. And with you being a diehard Florida State fan, I know there's a performance that's got to stand out to you. So I'm going to give you the floor. What's your favorite bowl performance from a Florida State Seminole?
It's easy to pick from the championship years, you know, but I'm going to go from the most recent championship year. We were down 21-3 versus the almighty SEC. And most people remember Auburn, and they remember Chris Davis, and they remember the game versus Georgia. But they forget that Auburn lost to Florida State. We were down 21-3, and we had an offense full of weapons. And Jameis Winston being the catalyst, Devontae Freeman, Nick O'Leary, Kenny Shaw, defense full of juggernauts. But it's two people that stand out.
Okay.
Rashard Green.
Yes.
He stepped up in that fourth quarter, especially that last drive. He had the quick 8-yard out. He had the catch, split up scene, 50-yard run, put us in position. And then when we got down, he also got a great pass interference call on Auburn. But then the game-winning touchdown, play action to Kelvin Benjamin. And if watching that whole season, as I watch every game, I knew that's where we were going. You had Chris Davis, who was lauded for what he did versus Bama, but you can't do nothing with 6'5". And Kelvin Benjamin, when he hit that catch, I almost hit my head on the ceiling. That's how high I jumped up. So that's the most memorable. There are other championship performances, but for me,
definitely
that was great.
Okay. I like those answers. Now, our next guest is a returning guest. I'm excited to have him. He is the host of Unbiased Sports Center, which is one of the most hilarious and full of truth sports analysis out there on the internet. Is brother Richard Glaze, man. How you feeling, man?
Hey, I feel great. Thank y'all, so much for having me today. I am excited, looking forward to the show today. This is a great show. Everybody who watching, keep watching. Great show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, man, welcome back. So same question for you, Richard. What's your favorite bowl performance from a Florida State Seminole?
Well, I'm going to throw up the ones right here, just like I had all right with the game. But I'm going to say 1999, the Peter Warwick Show.
Yep.
Michael Vick and the Hokies. We had a big lead with them. You know, Michael Vick being Michael Vick, you know, got them back in the game. I think it was 29-28, but then Peter Warwick. I remember Bobby Bowden, him saying to Bobby Bowden, you want me to finish it? He finished it. And Florida State, they were undefeated. First, I think that's first time in Bobby Bowden's career. They were undefeated, won his second national championship. My other moment, Kermit Whitfield, 100 yards.
Okay.
And I was watching this game with Auburn fans. I was on the Florida State fan. Tough. Halftime, they said it was over. They were dancing at halftime. I'm sitting there. I said, it's not over. I said, not over till it's 4 zeros on the clock. They said it's over. When Kermit Whitfield did that, it was silent. And of course, as Coach Jones said, jump ball, touchdown. You know who they're going for? Number 1. So, yeah, those are my favorite moments.
I feel that. I like that. Well, for me, man, I gotta go with the most recent championship. That's the mailman Stetson Bennett, who had an MVP performance. He threw 304 yards. He threw 4 touchdowns and ran in 2 touchdowns. 3 quarters of play. He did that. So what a way to end your college career. Had the swan song, and it was just a great performance by someone who a lot of Georgia fans, myself included, counted the man out. So I can always tip my cap to Stetson because mentally he was one of the most tough athletes that I've seen in the past decade. Because if y'all knew that coaches didn't want that man playing, players didn't want him playing, hence a number of them basically transferring when he said I was coming back. Jermaine Burton immediately transferred as soon as he declared for the draft. Or when Stetson declared that he was coming back, Jermaine hit the portal immediately. It was plenty of guys who didn't want to play with him. A lot of fans didn't want to see him out on that field, but hey, he proved us all wrong. So salute to Stetson Bennett.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen. Yeah, man. So let's talk about it. Not only is it bowl season, but we got 2 big player acquisition moments in college football going on currently. We got the transfer portal. It's hot and it's rolling. And we also have National Signing Day, or early signing day for these high school kids. At the time of the recording, today's Tuesday. Tomorrow is early signing day for these high school kids. So shout out to them. Shout out to their families. It's a great moment. A great opportunity for some national exposure before you got to get to work. So salute to them. We're going to definitely talk about that. But before we get into it, let's get into this transfer portal. Right now, it's going crazy. It's going crazy depending on who's your team. You got a number of players already off of your roster. And depending on your team, you got a number of players already walking in and pretty much committed to your program. Georgia just picked up a commitment from Landon Humphreys, who's a wide receiver from Vanderbilt. Talented kid, runs a 10.66, which is fast for anybody who doesn't pay attention to track. He's 6'3", and I want to say he scored like a 45-yard touchdown against us. So that was the first touchdown that Vanderbilt scored against Georgia in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was the kid that scored. So he's now a Georgia Bulldog.
And y'all went and got him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that I do credit Kirby for, is if you light up Georgia, he's going to try to get you the next season. Right. Because that's part of the reason why we got Dominic Lovett, because he was at Mizzou the season before, tore all of our corners up. And sure enough, what happened? He hit the portal. He's coming to Athens, Georgia. We don't have to worry about him catching anything else on us. So that's probably the right philosophy. I feel him. But on the opposite end of that, at least speaking from the Georgia perspective, we've already had 15 or 16 players hit the portal. And you guys have benefited because
Yeah.
Mr. Marvin Jones Jr. is back home
Yes, sir.
to follow in his dad's footsteps. He is now a Florida State Seminole. So we're going to talk about this transfer portal, because one thing that I've noticed, one thing I can say about all three of us when it comes to college football, when it comes to our fandoms, we're pretty realistic. You know, we're pretty level-headed, I would say, which is very rare when it comes to being a fan. So when I saw Marvin Jones hit the portal, of course I was devastated, because I'm like, man, we could actually use him. But I was even more devastated because I knew where he was headed. I was like, Florida State ain't going to swing and miss twice on this kid. He's coming home. And sure enough, he's there. So, but I'm seeing a lot of fans either being really, really rude and mean and attacking these kids, or on the other end, I'm seeing a lot of fans with the woe is me, crying, the sky is falling type situation. Because right now, Georgia Twitter, they've been in shambles for the past 2 weeks. Not just the fact that we didn't make the playoff like you guys, that sort of thing, but they're even more in the shambles once you start seeing these kids declaring to go to the transfer portal or declaring to go to the draft. Now it's, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And all that stuff. So my first question, I'm going to go to you, Jada, first. What are your thoughts on fan outrage when it comes to the transfer portal?
As a diehard Seminole fan, I understand when your team loses somebody that you feel like has helped or will help in the future, but they need to cut it out. They need to cut the crying out. Simply because for the top programs, the traditional, historically great programs, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, you name them, you're going to get people in those who replace those guys. Maybe you can't get. We took Jermaine Johnson from y'all a couple years ago, right? Like that was significant for us. But y'all had other people that you can recruit or that you had sitting in the wings. So development is what these programs do. They develop stars or they cultivate people who are already stars to be great at what they do. So they need to stop the crying out. I would say also they need to understand that this isn't 1985 anymore. This isn't 1990 anymore. Like the free agency in all the sports is something that we need to embrace, and we need to understand that these kids, these people, these human beings are going to do what's best for them the same way we would do what is best for us if if we saw a situation was better, or if we felt like we could get a better opportunity, or we felt like we were being overlooked. And so those are like my initial thoughts to the fans, like calm down. Now, if you are a Vanderbilt and you lose your best guy, I might be a little bit.
Yeah. I feel for Vanderbilt in particular because their starting quarterback just hit the portal. He's headed to LSU. Their number one wide receiver just committed to, damn it, I forgot where he went. Their number one receiver, he's gone. And he's at a nice program. I apologize for not knowing it. Number two receiver, he's coming to Georgia. Like, it's one of those things where
we also got to understand the NIL and how that's factoring into what these dudes. If I wasn't recruited by a Georgia, Florida State, a Ohio State, and I go out there and I light it up, I do what I need to do, and now they're coming to me, I get a chance to make money that I can't guarantee I'm going to get where I'm at, or in the future I will get in the league, especially if I'm being overlooked. So we got to take that into account too. It is a livelihood out here that they trying to get as well.
Absolutely. Richard, man, what are your thoughts on fan outrage? Like, how are you handling it? Because I know you're really good at poking fun at outrage fans.
I mean, it's always the next man up syndrome with me. You know, I don't like losing people to the portal, but I understand. We had this running back I really like. I think Trayshawn Ward.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bummed out about it, but I never agree with attacking. These guys are human. Never agree with attacking. I wish them well.
Definitely.
Next man up. 247sports.com is my friend. Go take a look at recruits. Go take a look. Trust me, these coaches, that's why they get paid the big bucks. They have people right behind them who's going to be just as good. And when Trayshawn Ward left, I mean, he got Trey Benson. He came in. It's a lot of benefits to the transfer portal. Okay, well, we lost Trayshawn Ward. Okay, well, Trey Benson, come on down. And much success to him in the NFL, by the way. Looking forward to seeing where he go in the draft. So I don't panic too much. It's unfortunate. I say, it's a bummer. But wishing well, as Coach Jay said, there's opportunity. If it was us, we want the best, put ourselves in the best circumstances. The NIL, I think, is a great thing. These guys can make money before they even touch a field on Sundays or Thursdays or Saturdays.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair. I mean, come on. If we had opportunity to go to another career that's saying, we're going to pay you $20,000, $30,000 more, especially if today have prices going up, no hesitation.
Right.
We're going to do it. So why should these guys hesitate? Not fair to attack these young men for wanting what's best for them and their family.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. The fan outrage reminds me of back in the 90s when we were kids, when the NFL free agency first started, and you had all of these traditionalists just so mad and outraged at somebody like Reggie White going to go get paid, man. Like, if Green Bay is offering me this compared to what Philly's offering me, I'm absolutely going to Green Bay. It is what it is. It's business. It's economics. So, yeah, the fan outrage, they need to chill out. And the only thing that I can say is whenever a player leaves for the portal, all I say is I wish them the absolute best up until they play against Georgia. That's it.
There you go.
That's it. And then when they play us, I'm indifferent. I'm not going to wish any injury or anything crazy. I'm just going to say I'm indifferent to them. I'm absolutely indifferent to them. So.
Oh no, I'm talking trash. Hey, you shouldn't have left. That's what we play. But other than that, you good.
I feel that. But I'm going back to Georgia when it comes to this transfer portal. Like I said, it's about 15, 16 players who've already entered the transfer portal. And like I said, a lot of these fans, a lot of the Georgia fan base right now is the sky is falling. That's their mentality right now, which is crazy to me, which is insane if you actually look at our roster. But that is what's being constantly said in these social circles. So very quickly, I'm going to start with you, Richard. Do you believe in your heart of hearts that this is the beginning of the end for Kirby Smart in Georgia?
Not at all. You mean to tell me that they have won so many games in a row? And I think Georgia fans, well, we had close calls. Well, remember, you're the national champion. So everybody's going to give you the best games. So, no, Kirby Smart, man, even though he was under Saban at one point, the man's brilliant. Now, I don't know if it might just be a rumor. I read this somewhere that said that he was talking about leaving to go to the Patriots. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe he's going to the NFL. Kirby Smart going to want a do-over because he's upset that his three-peat, Georgia should be in the playoffs too, let's just be honest. But that's a whole nother story. But no, you all, I've seen the talent. I look at other schools, I'm like, okay, well, wow, that's some good talent. No, not at all.
Yeah. Jada, what are your thoughts, man? And is this the beginning of the end for Kirby in Georgia?
Man, this is about as the beginning of the end when Nick Saban and them didn't win one of those few years in the 20 teens. Like, no, this ain't the end, man. This
Nah.
is a part of the process. It's
Yeah.
hard to repeat as champions, let alone
Right.
three-peat. It's been what,
Right.
40 some years or 40 years before y'all got the first one. Y'all went back to back.
Right.
One
Yep.
loss in the last 29 meetings. No, this ain't the beginning of the end. More so, this is a part of the consistency and what you expect from Georgia. As far as if we don't win the championship, it's a bust.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to expectations, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can just tell. I think both of our fan bases are in the similar moods for different reasons of going into this bowl game. But we'll definitely talk about that once we get to our game predictions. So, let's go ahead and talk about early winners of the transfer portal. The Ole Miss Rebels are the number one team according to 24/7 Sports transfer portal rankings. But there are a couple other teams, and one team in particular that I think all three of us will definitely have our eye on. That's been picking up some players and improving their team. What coach or what team stands out to you right now when it comes to that transfer portal and improving their team?
Right now, to be honest with you, I'm still salty, so I haven't been following as much.
I
Two
got you.
teams
I
that
got you.
that stick out. Oregon.
Hmm.
Oregon, they picked up Dylan Gabriel, and I think
Yeah.
they got another QB. They obviously losing Bo Nix, and so it seems like what the guy's doing there, he trying to just continue what he's doing, and also Coach
Definitely.
Prime, what he's doing in Colorado. I'm interested. I know they got the wide receiver. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, um, but there, I know he's going to
Actually,
continue to pick up steam. Go ahead.
that's where Vanderbilt's wide receiver went. That's where
Oh,
he went
okay.
to
Oh, really?
Colorado. That's where he went. Yep. Now that you say that, yep. It
Yeah, I
just
know he
popped in
was
my
a
head.
tall receiver. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's good.
and yeah, highly touted guy. And so I think that's going to continue to pick up. But yeah, this is the time. So that's my answer. Oregon right now. If I'm being unbiased, I like that we picked up Marvin Jones, but we lost a lot. But Coach Prime in Oregon right now.
Definitely. Richard, what team is standing out to you?
As I always say, I always look for our opponents, our conference. I look at some powerhouses. I'm gonna say Louisville. I think they're number 3, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Yep.
transfer portal rankings. Louisville was really good. They gave us a great game. Louisville, I know people are ACC and all that, but Louisville gonna give them time. They're gonna be pretty nice. Louisville, the coach at Louisville, he has turned them around rather quickly.
Yeah,
So
Coach Prime.
I'm going.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm
he's a
going
good
with
coach.
Louisville. They,
I like that.
that's who I would pick.
Yeah, they picked up Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama, who's a really talented guy. Really talented guy, just hasn't put together that full season. So, yeah, Louisville is a good pick, good choice. I honestly thought both of y'all were going to key in on Colorado, man. So I'm going to briefly talk about Colorado. I gotta give Coach Prime credit. He's seeing where the mistakes were last season, and he's trying not to repeat them. It's not a guarantee that it won't repeat, but he's definitely putting forth full effort of not repeating last year's mistakes. So that in itself is a win for me. The biggest concern, the biggest issue going into the season for Colorado, during the season, if you listen to this podcast, I called it way before. My concerns was the line of scrimmage with Colorado. The line of scrimmage and the depth of that line of scrimmage, because injuries are going to happen. You got 6'5", 6'6", 300-pound guys colliding against each other. Guys are going to get hurt. Somebody has to step up behind them. I'm seeing in the portal, even though a lot of people didn't like Coach Prime's comments about fixing his offensive line, you got to understand he was speaking from a place of emotion, seeing his son getting battered for an entire season. Like, you gotta understand that. And while you can critique hey, maybe he should show some tact. It is what it is, man. Like, he's just being honest. You ask me a question, expect an honest answer from me. Don't just always expect coach talk. I think
especially from him.
I think us, yeah, exactly. I think a lot of us fans, we're pretty much trained to just accept coach talk, coach speak. When Kirby gives you a press conference, he's not giving you any information. He's just giving you vanilla answers. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why he doesn't want to tell you what's going on, but he knows he has to be there. Coach Prime, on the other end, he's giving it up. He's just telling you, like, hey, your son is getting beat up right now. How are you going to fix it? Well, we're going to get a new offensive line. We're going to go into the portal. We got to get some guys replaced. It is what it is. And he's done that so far. I think right now he has added 5 offensive linemen, wow. four who have Power 5 experience or whatnot. And I know one kid from Jackson State is an offensive lineman, but he's definitely attacking that area. On the defensive line, he has added a defensive end from LSU that came in as a good prospect. So you're adding some quality talent. I mean, you're adding some quality players in a position of need. So, and I mean, just adding that wide receiver from Vanderbilt, that's another weapon to step in and help your son put up the kind of numbers that we should expect from him. So I would definitely say, just off the strength of improving from what the state of your team was last year, Coach Prime in Colorado, definitely.
Do not be surprised if Florida State gets one of those top QBs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing about Florida State, I've given y'all plenty of credit past couple seasons with how you do your player acquisition. Like, you guys don't just overinvest in the transfer portal, and you don't just overinvest in high school recruiting. Like, you're balancing yourself very well. The makeup of your team has been some transfer guys, but you're also bringing in high school kids and developing them. So you guys are doing it the right way. You have the past season or so gotten a little heavy on the transfer portal, but y'all haven't quite missed too many times. Like, once you got someone like Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, like back-to-back wide receivers through the portal, I mean, you're obviously evaluating talent at a high level. So credit to Coach Norville for that, for sure. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at SuplexDinnerClub. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. We talk about all things college football. The Life and Times pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Tomorrow is signing day, once again. I'm super excited because right now, Georgia has the #1 high school recruiting class, and that's even with losing the #1 quarterback in the nation, Dylan Raiola. So a lot of it, 24 hours from now, it could be completely different. All of these kids could easily flip and go to Florida State for all I know. But for right now, Georgia has the #1 recruiting class. Now, Florida State, if I'm not mistaken, they are #4. So, yeah, so you guys are picking up plenty of talent, and I want to talk about it briefly. So, Richard, what player on your signing day list so far is standing out to you and that you're super excited to see?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna have two of them. Luke Cromenhawk, quarterback, 5-star quarterback. Love
He's
to
from
bring
Georgia.
out. Oh yes, I want him
Yeah,
to sign
yeah,
the
yeah.
line
I've seen him
tomorrow.
play. He's nice. Yeah.
Give some competition to Tate Roadmaker and Brock Glenn.
Okay.
And I have to say this because I shout out to my family. Landon Thomas out of Colquitt County, the Packers, top
That
tight
one hurt.
end. Jaheim Bell going to the draft. Much success to him. So Landon Thomas, bring him in. One thing I know, Norval like to use the tight ends, and I really hope he uses the 2 tight end set a little more next year. So Landon Thomas, I pray he signed the dotted line as well. Those will definitely be my 2. I have more, but I'm gonna hold at those 2.
Have you seen Landon play?
I have. Of course, shout out to my family in Moultrie, the Moultrie Packers.
Yeah.
They made it to the playoff.
Yeah.
Oh, he's nice.
Landon's nice. I mean, he was a former Georgia commit.
I know. I know.
He was like one of the first commits of the class, man. I was like, when he decommitted and then immediately went to Florida State, I was like, God damn it! I was like, this is the sleeping giant that I don't need woken up right now. I don't need Florida State waking up right now. Y'all are too close to the state of Georgia, and I don't need to be competing with y'all for players. But hey, that's what happens when you start winning and doing your thing. So those are good choices, Richard. Definitely. Coach Jones, any players stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about in that Georgia area, so I might as well go with KJ Bolden.
Yeah.
Another heartbreak.
Yeah, he was very highly touted player.
Yeah.
I will be honest with you, I'm not big on following high school players, even with basketball, because I'm like, let me see what you do. But there are certain players that you like, oh, this kid got it. And I think KJ is one of those. And
Definitely.
I'm interested to see. I know they got him. I know he played wide receiver and safety. I think we're going to use him as safety.
Y'all are going to use him defensive back for sure.
Yeah, that's where we need him more than wide receiver. And so I'm interested. Hopefully he can bring that Jalen Ramsey type feel when he started out at safety, athletic, and can make plays, and then just keep going from there. So I'm interested for him.
I like that. Those are good choices. I've seen KJ play in person, and y'all got a ball player, man. Like, that's a day one starter. I don't know if he's going to be an early enrollee. I'm pretty sure he is, but once y'all get him, he's not going to leave that field. Like, if you watch if you watch Alabama play with Caleb Downs, their safety, who's a freshman, and he's from the state of Georgia, KJ Bolden is in the same light. Fast, big, very physical, very aggressive, and extremely confident. Like this kid will tell you he'll run through a wall. He'll figure it out. So y'all got a good player on your hands. I'm still holding out that Kirby figures out how to flip him in the next couple of hours. But because y'all are the homies, I'm excited for y'all. So the player that I'm going to say that I'm most excited to see is a part of our recruiting class. It's an easy answer for me. It's going to be Ellis Robson IV. He's a cornerback. He went to IMG past couple seasons. He's from the Northeast. Extremely talented, big, physical kid. Cornerback at 6'1", 185, coming out of high school. Another extremely confident player. I've seen him in person on 7-on-7s. He just looks the part, man. Like you said, one way of describing it is if you're watching a game with your wife and your wife's like, man, that kid's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like when they point out that kid's good, you know, it's like, yeah, he's legit, because that's how that kid is. I think Georgia will be in need of a starting cornerback going into the spring because our best corner is probably headed to the draft. And we've gotten a number of guys enter the transfer portal. So it's going to get a little weird. And in the spring, huge opportunity for him to go ahead and snatch that starting role. So Ellis Robinson IV is my highlighted signee that I'm super excited to see. All right, so let's go ahead and get to yes sir or nah. This is a segment where I'm going to ask you a question, and if you agree, that's a yes sir. Or if you don't agree at all, just give me a nah. And of course, go ahead and pontificate either point. And today's segment of yes sir or nah is going to be dealing with some draft eligible quarterbacks.
Okay.
Now, all four of these guys have pretty much said, hey, I'm returning. Most recently, Georgia's quarterback, Carson Beck, he just announced via Twitter last night, Monday night, that, hey, I'm coming back to Georgia. I want to run it back. I want some get back, essentially. I'm excited as a Georgia fan, but I can also look and say, yeah, you should probably be hitting the draft just because you're 6'4", 230. Hey, and the NFL is in current need of quarterback play, exceptional quarterbacks. So me, as a Georgia fan, I'm going to be selfish and be excited, but also I'm going to be like, you should probably hit the draft as well as these other guys. But I want to ask y'all, Richard, yes sir or nah, should Colorado's Shedeur Sanders declare for the draft?
No, not just yet. I think he have a lot to prove. Travis Hunter's going to be back next year. I think they finished with 4-8, if I'm not mistaken. So no. I don't want him to go out that way. I don't think he wants to go out that way. He's competitive just like his father. And I think once they bring in some more pieces, Colorado, I think they're going to be fine. I think he at least wants to make a bowl game, at least, or more, or higher, Yeah. So no. Shedeur need to come back. Is he ready? Absolutely. He's ready. I mean, he trained with Tom Brady. As y'all know, I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but I got to give credit where credit is due. Tom Brady is a quarterback whisperer. So, and yeah, he definitely needs to come back. I look forward to seeing Shedeur next year.
All right, Jada. Yes, sir. Nah. Should Shedeur declare for the draft?
Nah, that's the direct answer. I will give you a reason why I could see yes, sir, because I feel like he will fall in the middle of the pack in the first round, maybe even late first round, which means he goes to a better team. And with these injuries, he would be in a better situation. I don't think if he was to get drafted high, it would do him any good going to a bad team. But the reason why I say nah is the reason why that Richard pointed out. If they were 7-5, 8-4, making a bowl game, I think he probably would have left. But he don't want to go out like that. Remember, he was in a Heisman conversation the first 4 weeks. And then after that, we hear nothing about him because of his team play. So I think he wants to right that ship.
All right, I'm going to agree with both of y'all, man. I'm going to say nah for Shedeur declaring for the draft. Like you said, it's unfinished business, man. It's absolute unfinished business. Travis Hunter returning. You got weapons on the outside. It's still excitement in Colorado. Amongst those the Colorado fan base, love them or hate them, they're very excited for this team, and Shedeur is a major part of that team. And when it's said and done, your dad is the coach. Like, of course, you're not declaring early. Your dad is like, nah, bro, you ain't going nowhere. You're coming back with me. So.
Can we also add that, because that's a tremendous point that you just made.
Yes.
Not only is my dad the coach, but I want to make sure that I get him started with this program in a positive light. So if I can give him another year to get a quarterback or somebody else, then yeah, man, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Next quarterback is going to be Tex Quinn Ewers. Started off the season pretty hot, pretty consistent. Then unfortunately got injured mid-season. His backup took over. kept the ship going for a couple games, and Quinn took over, but he doesn't look the same. He doesn't look the same. But from a pro perspective, the kid is a first-round talent. He's in the best shape that he's been in since ever in his life, and he has the tools to be a first or second round draft pick. Should Quinn Ewers declare for the draft?
Nah, he's done pretty well. I don't see, when I think of first, second round QBs, I think of franchise QBs. I don't see that.
Okay.
For him, I think coming back. Now, if they win the championship, then all bets are off. But I just don't think they will, and I don't think that he should give himself another year to improve his draft stock.
Same answer. Now, if they win the national championship, which I just don't see Texas doing, then by all means, yes, he has made it to the mountaintop. He should go to the draft. But since the injuries been piling up last year, now this year, he need a full season. That's very important, because see, if he entered the draft, they're gonna say, well, is he durable? That's gonna be the question. That's gonna be the rumor. Can he play a full season?
That's a good point.
So now again, if he win a national championship, then you won't hear none of that. All you're gonna hear is he won a national championship. But for right now, absolutely, he needs to return and play a full, healthy season.
Okay. I'm going to say yes, sir. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because of his weapons around him. Just taking into account his top 2 wide receivers are going to be going to the draft. A.D. Mitchell, he's going to be drafted a first or second round wide receiver. Xavier Worthy, I'm more than confident that he's going to declare for the draft as well. And even though Texas does a really good job of recruiting and surrounding themselves with some explosive players, I don't think you just immediately replace those 2 weapons. And you're putting yourself at risk of playing with lesser than options on the outside on the last year that you have as a college athlete. So I'm going to take my chances, declare for the draft, because he's gonna do well at the combine. He looks the part. He can make every single throw. And again, like I said, he's in the best shape that he's been in for his entire life. So, man, go get paid, man. If Kenny Pickett is playing NFL football right now, you should definitely be out there, Quinn Ewers. So that's my guy. All right, Richard, Alabama's Jalen Milroe. He's a redshirt sophomore. Young man had a roller coaster of a season, man, but it's still going up. That's the crazy roller coaster part about it. It was a little dip at the beginning. After the Texas loss, he got benched. Unfortunately, it was super weird politics in that we don't even have to talk about. But luckily, Coach Saban got his wits about him, started the guy who was the best option at quarterback for him, which was Jalen Milroe. They peeled off wins, including winning the SEC championship and leading their team to the playoff with a chance of winning another national championship. So my question to you, Richard, should Jalen Milroe declare for the draft?
I'm going to say this. No. And here's why. I have to excuse me. I'm still a little upset about Alabama not being Florida State.
Understandably so.
Surprisingly, and Alabama fan was shocked to see this, because anybody who know me, I don't like Alabama, I don't like Nick Saban. But I defended Jalen Milroe following that loss to Texas.
Yep.
I felt like they didn't let him use his legs enough. They didn't run the right offense for him. Yep. Tommy Rees, I will give, much as I hate to give Alabama credit, those last 5 games, it showed you that they finally made the adjustment. He started getting confidence in himself. Now, he go out and win a national championship. Yes, he'd have made it to mountaintop. Yes, folks say, well, he need to go to the draft. No. I think he still need another full season because of development. I think he'll only get better. because I mean, he, like you said, it's going up. It haven't went down; it's going up. So,
Right.
and I look back at this clip that I saw after the Iron Bowl. He said, "Give him the Heisman."
Right.
So I think if he win a national championship, he'll already be a Heisman favorite going into next year. He'll be even more developed, more confident he win a national championship. So he come back, it's going to be kind of scary what he'll be able to do and run the table. And now next year's a 12-team playoff. So more than likely, I mean, Alabama, looking at their schedule, they have a good shot to get there. And not only Jalen Milroe could win a Heisman, because he, give him the Heisman, as he said, he could be back-to-back national champions, which I pray don't happen. But that's my answer. Jalen Milroe, come on back regardless.
All right, Jada, your thoughts, man. Should Jalen Milroe declare?
Nah. And I'm gonna try not to repeat some of the great points that Richard made.
Right.
I will say I didn't see. So let me FSU. They struggle versus USF.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle versus USF. He was benched. But what he did after that, when he was inserted back into that offense, is something that for a 4-week span, it was like, dang, he Heisman-esque.
Definitely.
And so I feel like it will do him justice. The two people that come to mind when I watch him, the first one is Lamar Jackson.
Definitely.
Arm strength, the speed. The boy is a running back when he puts his foot in the ground and goes. And I feel like Lamar was a more polished QB, obviously. But I feel like another year, maybe even two, he can read coverages. Because versus y'all, he didn't look good. He just they just made more plays. They had at the time a better team.
Difference of 4 plays. Yep.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he looked good. So let's not let the win put air freshener on how he looked. But the other person that comes to mind is Jalen Hurts. I like his mental toughness, and I think he has the mental toughness of Jalen Hurts. You heard what he said after the championship game. And I feel like that mold of mentality versus the athleticism and play of Lamar Jackson is, if he stays, is what he could be.
I like that. I like both of those player comps for sure. For me, I would agree with you guys. I'm going to say, nah, he should definitely come back. And my reason is simple as this. It's nothing more vital of a confidence boost than a quarterback coming back knowing that that's his team, knowing that I'm not about to get benched. An example that I can use close to home would be Stetson Bennett. Stetson's first national championship, he was always looking over his shoulder. It was coaches looking to go ahead and yank him and put in JT Daniels. It was fans screaming from the stands, screaming online, screaming on Twitter, where's JT Daniels? Where's JT Daniels? Why is Stetson out there? But when he said, I'm coming back, it was pretty much set like, I'm the man. And from that, we saw the most confident play. Sure, he's a renegade in a lot of those plays, but it went his way in most of those cases. And that's very scary when you say Jalen Milroe is going to come back to Alabama next year knowing that he's the man, knowing that I don't have to play a little bit more timid. I can go ahead and let it rip. That sort of confidence, that sort of little tweak can make a player unstoppable. So I would say, I would say as a Georgia fan, declare for the draft. I don't ever want to see you again, Jalen. Never again. But just being a sensible college football fan, I would say, of course, come back to a situation where you got talent on your team and you're the man and you can set some things ablaze next year. So shout out to Jalen Milroe. Last one, gentlemen. I'm going to start with you, Richard. Georgia's Carson Beck, like I said earlier, he did already announce, hey, I'm coming back. I want some get back. He's had a really solid year. Number of Georgia fans doubted him. I wasn't one. I said it from the jump. I was like, hey, this kid Carson, he looks the part. He's the man. We just got to instill some trust in the guy. And sure enough, with each game, he grew more and more confident. That Auburn game was kind of like gasoline for him because he got whatever jitters out and he was playing smooth and confident. And that's one thing I love about Carson is that he's always like this. You can just look at him and he doesn't look jittery. He doesn't look overwhelmed. He doesn't freak out. And that's what I love about the guy. And that's why I'm excited that he's coming back because we have talent on our team. And now I don't have to worry about a quarterback being broken in. So, Richard, your thoughts? Do you think Carson Beck should declare for the draft?
No, absolutely not. It kind of reminded me of the Jordan Travis situation. After we went 10-3 last year, I remember him rallying around the guys in the offseason saying, hey, we got to come back. We got to come back and finish the job and compete for a national championship. Same situation with Carson Beck. After the Auburn game, he was very consistent, very much improved. So he's only going to get better. And as you said with Milroe, George, that will be his team. He's going to be the starting quarterback. No ifs, ands, or buts. Georgia will also have a great shot at making the 12-team playoff. So he knows that, you all play enough to win, and he improved along the way. He won a ring. And don't be surprised after the bowl game, after the Orange Bowl, he's going to rally around, just like Jordan Travis, and get well soon, Jordan Travis. He is going to rally around like, hey, we got to go finish the job. So, no, Carson Beck, come on back.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple of Georgia insiders that I do listen to and follow, they have started saying pretty much that Carson's already talking to a couple of those guys that probably should go to the NFL. He's already pretty much telling them like, nah, man, this ain't the way we're going out. Let's take care of this bowl game, and then next year we got a brand new fresh slate. So Jada, what are your thoughts, man? Do you think Carson made a mistake by returning to Athens?
No, I think he made the right decision. So he shouldn't declare. I'm interested on your take as the Georgia fan that I respect the most.
Right.
The way that he looked in the SEC championship game, it was concerning because it seemed like the moment it wasn't too big. It just was like, I felt that when I watched it. It was like I didn't see. You said he's calm, he's confident. I just didn't see the play, the leadership play that I was expecting. Maybe, and this is why I think he needs to come back because Stetson, we saw that second run, and I still feel like there's residue, in my opinion, that Carson Beck is like I know I can't be Stetson, but I gotta uphold this standard that's been set. And so I think the loss might help him going forward. So when he comes back, it's like, nah, I've been here. I've been to the SEC championship game. I'm no longer, worried about that's Alabama on the other side, or hey, I got to make the right throw. I can play calm and I can play loose because I've been there. So I feel like this next year would be his year to kind of be what Stetson was when he was like, you know what? I'm here and I'm not going nowhere. So that's just my thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it came to the SEC championship, I think it was a little rough. It was a rough start for Carson, for sure. But I got to give him credit because he stuck with it. And he made plays in the second half. And we gotta think this was a one-score game pretty much. The difference of this game was at least 4 plays, or at least 3 or 4 plays. It was a difference of 3 or 4 plays. It wasn't a collapse, a monumental collapse or anything. Like if you looked at Georgia Twitter at the time, everyone was freaking out and all of that. But Carson was doing his thing. It was just that Alabama made some plays, and credit them. They're a really talented team. I have no issues with it. Of course, I was disappointed, but it's just one of those things. When you play a good, solid team, and it's a difference of 3 or 4 plays, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose those.
Yeah.
Carson could have done more, but I can also say the offense as a whole could have done more because you know, the running backs, they didn't really get off like they should have. They just didn't. And when you put a quarterback in bad field position, 9 times out of 10, he's going to disappoint you. It's that rare 5% quarterback of Bryce Young, his Heisman Trophy season, or Johnny Football when he was on fire. Like, it's that rare 5% quarterback
or
that
Deshaun
you
Watson.
can put.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a Deshaun Watson when he won the Natty, that you can put them in bad positions consistently and they just keep wheeling you out. That's like, I can't name too many quarterbacks that can just consistently do that, at least in the game right now. But I'm actually going to say Carson should declare for the draft just because, again, the state of the NFL quarterback is not the best. And this would be the draft year where you can capitalize. And like your point, Jada, a few quarterbacks ago, you can get drafted in the bottom half of the first round and you're on a talented team. Look at Lamar Jackson. He was drafted last pick of the first round. I'm a Ravens fan. We traded back into the first round and got Lamar. And look at us now. Like, Lamar's been our guy. And Richard, you're a Ravens fan too, so absolutely. I know you know.
Man, and as a Jag, I voted him.
But y'all got a good one. Y'all got Trevor. But shout out to Carson. Shout out to all those guys. They all announced that they're coming back. And as college football fans, we're super excited to see them. And I know those NIL return bags are going to be plentiful for those gentlemen.
Later on tonight.
Yes. All right, let's get to these game day picks. We picked a couple games. We're not going to do all of the bowl games. I just picked some of the games that stood out to me. So first game, Mizzou and Ohio State. You got 2 talented teams. Mizzou pretty much came out of nowhere for a lot of college football fans. Those of us who pay attention to Mizzou, we knew what kind of team they had. It was just a difference of a couple players. They had more consistent quarterback play from Brady Cook. And my guy, Luther Burden, shout out to him from East St. Louis, Illinois. Shout out to the Flyers. He had a baller season. He did his thing. And now they are going to be facing an Ohio State team that ended their season with a disappointing loss to Michigan. One-loss team, mind you, Ohio State. They had the outside argument of they should be in the playoffs, even though most of us said, no, you don't deserve it. And noteworthy point for Ohio State, their starting quarterback has already entered the transfer portal, committed to play for Syracuse.
Wow.
So now Ohio State is going to be starting a new quarterback. But again, they have some talent on that team. I think this is going to be a fun game. So, Richard, who are you going to pick? You got Mizzou or Ohio State?
It all come down to defense. I don't trust Missouri defense. Give me Ohio State.
Okay. I like that. Jada, your thoughts?
Man, this is a toss-up, and it's all negative for me because I don't want to pick an SEC team at all. That's a great nugget. I forgot McCoy did enter the transfer portal. Is Marvin Harrison playing?
Mm-hmm.
If he's playing,
he hasn't. I haven't seen him say he's not playing. Okay. I haven't seen him announce that. This week in particular is when those guys will start announcing whether or not they're playing because they're practicing this week.
Okay. Man, this is tough. Just if I want to, got to keep it short, I'll say, man, I never pick Ohio State. I'm going to pick Mizzou. I'm going to go Mizzou.
Okay. I'm gonna Man, I'm going to pick Ohio State. I'm going to pick Ohio State just because their defense all season has been really talented. They get to the quarterback, they cause havoc, they cause problems. I think Brady Cook is a talented guy. He's another quarterback that could have declared, but he's coming back. Very talented. I think he's going to have a challenging game on his hands with Ohio State. I'm picking Ohio State to win, even though I do want to see Mizzou beat them, just because. All right, next game. We got Penn State versus Ole Miss. Another two talented teams that had good seasons, but when it came to them playing the upper echelon teams, they lost. Penn State, they would lose to Ohio State and Michigan. Ole Miss, they lost to Bama and Georgia. So as a fan of those teams, I can't be that disappointed because you lost to some of the best teams in the nation. But also it's one of those things where, man, a player or two, you probably would have beat Alabama if you're Ole Miss. Just that's a one-score game. Not against Georgia, we blew them out. But Penn State, they kind of got handled by both of those teams. So I can't even give them that same energy. But Jada, man, let's go ahead and pick it. Penn State or Ole Miss.
Man, you hurting me because I told you I want to pick no SEC team. But I don't trust James Franklin. I don't, not in big games. I think the two losses to of Ole Miss are better losses than Penn State's losses. So I'm going to go with Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Richard.
If it was in Happy Valley, might pick Penn State. But I think Ole Miss is going to show up. And I think after halftime, it's going to be over. I think by the end of the third quarter.
Okay. Man, I want to pick Penn State, but their defense coordinator, somebody y'all are familiar with, Manny Diaz, he will not be coaching because he's already left to be head coach of Duke. So shout out to him. That's a new defense coordinator. That's a talented defense, but I'm picking Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss running back Junkins, very talented dude, patient runner, but explosive. I think he has a good game, a really good game to set up what should be a Heisman season for next season. I meant for next year. This is going to be his statement game, introducing himself to the national media as your next Heisman favorite. Next game. This is a unique one. Liberty versus Oregon. Now, I know people most of us have not watched Liberty. Liberty's a good team, a really good team, really good and competitive team. And just think last year, and this is their head coach's first season. So, but Oregon, y'all know I had them in my playoff. I was a believer all season. I enjoyed watching the Ducks. And honestly, I'm more salty about that Pac-12 game than the SEC game, which is super weird being a Georgia fan. Because I think if Oregon's defense would have made at least one stop for that last drive, Bo would have gotten that ball back. He would have scored that touchdown. And he would have won the Heisman. So I'm super salty because all of my dreams, all of my hot predictions went to trash just because of Oregon's defense, unfortunately. So, Richard, man, who you got, Liberty or Oregon?
Now, if Bo Nix is playing, which I believe he is supposed to return next year.
He is playing. No, he's out. He's gone.
Okay.
Bo's gone. Yeah.
I think the game will be closer than what people think. Liberty they're going to be excited. They're going to compete because they're going to be excited to be there. But I think Oregon, too much talent, and I think that depth is going to be that's going to be the end of Liberty. So I think it'll be close, but give me Oregon.
Jada.
It's going to be as close. It's going to be close in the pregame meal, in the pregame speech. And by the end of that first quarter, it's going to be done. I got
Yeah.
Oregon winning by at least 40.
Woo! Wow, man. Yeah, I got Oregon winning. I think they do pull away in the second half. Liberty has a month to prepare for your team. Those kind of scenarios get a little interesting, especially when you have players that are on their way out, like a Bo Nix. I know he's a prideful guy, but he's also thinking in the back of his head the NFL. So hopefully Liberty can make a few plays to keep it interesting. But I do think Oregon wins this game. All right, next two games we're picking. I know, unfortunately, for all three of us, our teams aren't in these, but the playoffs are here, and one of these four teams that we talk about is going to be the national champion. So let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, fellas. Michigan, Alabama. I know it hurts, but we gotta face it, man. We gotta face it. It is what it is. Michigan has had a drama-filled season, but an undefeated drama-filled season. Talented defense, talented running game. Their quarterback has been playing a little spotty past the last month of the season. He almost cost them a few games, but almost doesn't count. That's what they say. Alabama, on the other hand, took a loss early in the season, started peeling off wins, upset the number one team in the nation in the SEC championship, and upset a number of college football fans by getting into the college football playoff. So we gotta pick one or the other, and you are more than welcome, Jada, to decline if you like still. But I want to know, man. I want to know, Jada, what are your thoughts?
All right, so let me just get mine off for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
You mentioned Jordan Travis, Richard, and we were talking about should these people come back or not. This man said he came back to play, and obviously he got injured. You know who else said they was coming back to play? Jared Verse.
He did.
He said he was coming back to win the championship, and the fact that he was denied that for everything that was outside of his control bothers me even more than just me wanting Florida State in. He didn't lose. He came back and didn't get it. I'm gonna respect your pod, and I'm going to make a prediction on these games.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna watch them. But
I feel you on that.
FSU bias pick, I'm picking Michigan because I think it's going to be a conversation of, dang, Bama maybe shouldn't have been in if they lost to Michigan. And also, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to go on his NCAA tour, which is already started, but it's going to pick up steam. And how else, other than to really solidify that, other than the national championship, is to say we beat y'all lover boy and Nick Saban in Alabama, who probably shouldn't be in.
I like that, Richard. I know, man. I know it. I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off early, man.
As much as I would love Michigan to pull to get the win, hell to the victors. I love to hear it. As much as I hate to say this, the team that shouldn't be there, who stole Florida State's spot, Alabama will win, probably win big. Michigan is too one-dimensional. I'm sorry.
Okay, man, that's a lot, Jada. If you've ever watched Richard online, you understand how this is something that no one would ever expect him to do, to pick Alabama to win. Like that's Richard. That's growth. That's what we call growth and maturity. You're being, once again, you're proving my point of us being mature, sensible college football fans.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. I got to break the tie. I gotta pick Alabama, man. I have to pick Alabama, And the reason why I'm picking Alabama is this. Michigan and Coach Harbs they do a horrible job of preparing for teams. If you give them a month, for some odd reason, sign stealing and all that stuff aside, they do a horrible job of preparing for teams. I just don't think – I know that Michigan has a physical team. I know that they're motivated. I know that they had their practice segments called their practice periods called Beat Georgia. They had those where they knew that they would have to face an SEC team to win a championship. I got questions about JJ, their quarterback. I got questions about him. The last month of the season, he didn't look good. He didn't look consistent. He didn't look confident. And that concerns me when you give Nick Saban, who is the greatest college football coach of all time, of modern day and all that stuff, a lot of us can say, when you give him 4 weeks to prepare and exploit just that, that's a problem. And that's going to be an issue. And I got Alabama winning. I kind of agree with you, Richard, that it may get ugly. It may get out of hand. So it is what it is. Other semifinal game. And this is going to be an exciting game, I think. This is a repeat of last year's bowl. These two face each other. Texas and Washington. 2 phenomenal seasons. Texas went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. That's a huge win for Coach Sark. Even though they lost to Oklahoma in a close game, they wound up riding the course, winning the Big 12 and punching their place in the playoff. Washington, on the other hand, undefeated, took care of business, scored on damn near everybody. You know, one of the most explosive passing offenses. Yes, they had a little rough patch for about 2 to 3 weeks, but credit to them. They beat Oregon twice in one season, and it's super difficult to beat a team twice in one season. So credit to them, credit to both of those programs, and shout out to their fan bases, because it's been long overdue for either one of them to be near the top of the mountain of college football. So enough about all that. Richard, I want to know who's going to win, Texas or Washington?
I'm going to have to go with Texas. I think Texas, it's their time to get to the national championship. Steve Sarkisian, I think it's his time to be right there at the main event.
I like it. Jada.
This is going to be about who starts the fastest. I feel like whoever starts the fastest will dictate kind of where it goes. Last pick was emotional because of Florida State. This one ain't going to be no different. I'm picking Washington. But I will say I'm more confident in this pick than the Michigan over Alabama pick, because the last time we seen Penix versus Heisman type QBs, Bo Nix, he's trying to prove a point. The fact that he didn't win, I think adds more fuel to let me go out here and show y'all why y'all made a mistake. So I think Penix and Washington wins.
That's a good point. This is 2 of my favorite teams that I've watched all season. Definitely 2 of my favorites. I'm going to go on the strength of a listener and one of the homies, Gary, and ride with the Texas Longhorns. Shout out to you, Gary. You came on the podcast for a quick second and talked your talk. You made your shot. You said you didn't care about any of these other programs. It was time for Texas to win the national championship. And you're 2 wins from doing it. So I'm going to say that Texas is going to win. They're going to put together a great game plan. This is 2 of the best coaches in college football playing. Mm-hmm. I mean, 2 of the best offensive and defensive coaches. I love their staff. I love Texas staff. I love Washington staff. This is going to be a great game. This is probably going to be the game that I'm just fully locked in and go into college football nerd mode, because I'm going to be loving what I see out of both of these teams. I think Texas wins. That's what I got. This is the main event. we got Georgia, we got Florida State. We can call this the Salty Bowl. We can call this the we can we can call this the Beat 'em Up Bowl. I think this game is going to be an ugly one because you got two pissed off teams, two teams that, in their own mind, in their own right, they should be in the playoff, and that's what I can definitely say for you guys as. For Florida State fan base, you guys, a shout out. And also, before all of this, shout out to y'all. Undefeated, conference champion. You went into Death Valley. You beat Clemson. You got that monkey off of your back. Y'all had a hell of a season, man. So, sincerely, shout out to y'all. Y'all had a terrific season. It's unfortunate that y'all didn't make the playoff, but I'm happy whenever I see my friends' teams do their thing. So I was super happy for y'all the entire season. Y'all did awesome. So before we even get to these picks, I definitely want to tip my cap and say shout out to y'all. Y'all had a wonderful season. And, yeah, for sure. And I mean, the stakes are high in this game technically because you guys beat Georgia. You beat the two-time defending national champs. You always can say, hey, what about Florida State? As in national champions. You were undefeated. For Georgia, on the other end, we can hang on our cap that we were 12-0 for the third time in the regular season. While we didn't get to the playoff, we have an opportunity to own the one L on you all's record. The drama and stakes are very high for this game, and I'm excited for it. I'm going to tell y'all I'm excited for it, even though, of course, I would love for my guys to be in the playoff. It is what it is. You should have won the conference. But, Jada, let's get your pick in. What are your thoughts? What is your analysis going into this bowl game?
For anybody who is not a Florida State fan and who is not understanding our frustration, I want to say this. Do not look at this Florida State team that is going to play on the 31st and say, oh, this is a representation of what they would have done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because not only our quarterback situation, but we, just like y'all, we have players, our star players are not going to be there. Trey Benson,
Right.
Keon Coleman. I don't know if Johnny Wilson is going to be there or not, but I doubt he'll play.
I think Johnny said he's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Our backup, or Rodney Hill, who was our freshman, who would have been a star, he's transferred. And we all know the quarterback situation, right? So do not let, if we lose, that to be this proves what they would have done, because those players would have played, and we would have most likely been a 4th seed playing Michigan, and I think we would have had a great chance with our defense. Mm-hmm. That said, it may sound like, dang, you ain't got no faith. I'm always riding with them boys. So we gonna win. And we're going to win. I'm just interested to see how Mike Norvell is going to have them ready to play. Especially if we get behind, is he gonna have that their ear? So yeah, obviously I'm going nose, and I'll give you a score. Nose will win in a defensive battle, 23-17.
Okay, I like that score. Richard, what you got?
Not many teams I respect in the SEC, but Georgia's definitely one.
Absolutely.
I've always been a respect down the Georgia Bulldogs. I have a couple of friends, including you, who are Georgia Bulldogs friends. And one, he unfortunately passed away some years back. I hate he wasn't able to see the back-to-back. Uncle Jeff, rest well, man. Awesome guy.
Rest. Yeah.
And if he was here, I already know he'd be talking trash, and because we, I think Florida State actually played Georgia in a couple of years. I don't know if it's a home and home. I can't remember, but as Coach Jones said, a lot of our top players, Jared Burst, they're going into the draft. Our defense, I would say we were in the top 3 best defense in the nation.
Definitely.
And I understand. So I would not fault them. Go get your money. Stay in shape. get healthy, get ready for the draft. I look forward to April 2024. Look forward to seeing them call your name. Georgia, I will say I didn't see a lot of your guys saying, okay, we're out. However, Florida State, not yet, true. Hakeem, Coach Norville, you got Hakeem Williams, you have some talent. This may be their time. The spring game roster may need to show up today. They need to understand Florida State has to show the world why they should have been in the playoffs. Be competitive. Right. They have to be competitive. Now, either way it goes, they'll criticize Florida State. They win. Okay, well, Georgia, a lot of, depending on what happened, a lot of their guys, they're committed. Florida State lose. Some reason, I don't know why Florida State get a lot of criticism, even though a lot of our star players are not going to be in the game. They'll just say, oh, they shouldn't be there. So I want Florida State to just think about that moment when they announce Bama. I want to think about that for a second. I want them to watch that the night before the game. You got to play all 4 quarters against Georgia Bulldogs. I'm starting to be long-winded. But at the end of the day, I'm going to pick the Florida State Seminoles. Close game, Renegade, Chief Osceola, let's get ready. Let's get out there. We got a dog fight for all 4 quarters.
Yes, sir. You got a score?
Final score, 21-17. Very close. Okay. Very low scoring game.
I like it. All right. Well, Brock Bowers of Georgia, the greatest tight end of college football history. Anybody can come to me and debate it, and I'm going to embarrass you in the debate. He's probably not going to be playing. Right. Shout out to him. Credit, he did his thing. Great college career. Headed to the draft. I meant fighting that high ankle sprain and having surgery, that tightrope surgery, and coming back. That in itself makes you a legend, a college football legend, man. So shout out to him for that career. Lad McConkey, a key receiver for Georgia. It sounds like he may not be playing either. Battling injuries all season. Another weapon, not playing. But the key person for this game, for me, it's got to be Carson Beck. Carson Beck, he's a Florida kid. He's playing against the Seminoles in Miami, Florida. Great homecoming opportunity for him to go ahead and stake your claim as being the best quarterback next year. Great performance, MVP performance I expect from Carson Beck. I think Georgia wins, and I'm going to go ahead and say Georgia 31. Nope, actually, I'm not going to give the score prediction. Because I got to save it for next week. But Georgia is going to score 31. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Georgia is going to win this game. And hopefully we can keep together a lot of the band for next season so we can make another run and hopefully another national championship. But looking forward to this game, man. Definitely looking forward to it. And it's no other opponent that I would prefer to play in a bowl. If I can't be in the playoff, I want to play an undefeated Florida State team. So looking forward to it, man. All right. Well, gentlemen, we've reached the end of the podcast. I want to say thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate y'all spending some time with me as always. So before we head out, Richard, I want you to let the people know where can they find you, because I do want people to check out Unbiased Sports Center because, like I said, it's hilarious analysis, but it's on-point analysis for sure.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on the show again. Yes, I'm on Facebook, Unbiased Sports Center / The People Show. The People Show actually on a hiatus, but Unbiased Sports Center, we have an upcoming Christmas episode. So definitely add me on Facebook. I put the videos out. Hey, come tune in. And on side note, Michigan Wolverines, do what you got to do.
Jada, man, let the people know where can they find you, man.
All right, man. First and foremost, Adrian, appreciate you, man. You do a great job on this podcast. It's a pleasure to be on here. Richard, man,
course,
great
man.
to be on. I've seen you on here before, but it's good always to see a fellow know.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Coach_Jones13. Coach_Jones13. I'm on Facebook. You'll see a lot of mentorship, leadership quotes from me. Most of them are from me, or some I pulled from somewhere else. You want inspiration, you want high level leadership, motivation. That's what that is. Look out for anything dream, family related, but that'll probably be in years to come. And always go Noles.
Definitely, definitely. Well, folks, y'all already know Suplex Dinner Club. Follow the brand. We just crossed over 500, so let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, man, let's enjoy some bowl games. Definitely enjoy the holidays and all that good stuff. Listeners, I will see you all next Friday. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Take care of each other. And as always, go Dogs.
Your ass is prepared for this shit for fucking 365 days. I think about the fucking in that locker room. Think about getting our opportunity. All the shit you went through this week to get ready for this game. Now is when you pay the fucking price. You go out there with energy, enthusiasm. Ain't nobody just wants you to be cautious. Ain't nobody just wants you to be nervous about shit. Go out here and fuck their ass up. Don't think about scoreboard. Don't think about shit. You think about knocking the shit out of them. Did you hear what Box said on Monday? When I sat in that fucking meeting, I wanted to go fucking play right then. Tore your shit up out here. 2 years ago, fuck your shit up. Goddamn pride and joy tells me you fuck these guys up. You go play the right way. You play the right way. You knock their ass off. You stay off the fucking ground. You tackle the fucking man with the ball. The shit's easy. Look at the right shit. Punish their ass on offense and kick their ass on special teams, guys. It's about who the fuck we are. I believe in you. Let's go.